Okay, good morning. We are going to start the meeting for the County of Monterey Planning Commission for August 13, 2025. And so if we could have the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Work, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next is roll call.
Commissioner Getzelman?
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza?
Here.
Commissioner Gomez?
Here.
Commissioner Hartzell?
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Here.
Commissioner Work?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts?
Here.
Commissioner Monsalve?
Here.
Commissioner Shaw?
Here.
Commissioner Deal is absent. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And I guess this would be the place for us to let the public know how they would be able to communicate with the commission, either via Zoom or via emails.
To participate during public comment on the Zoom platform, you can raise your hand by opening reactions at the bottom of your screen and clicking on the raise hand icon. If you're on a mobile or landline device, you can raise and lower your hand by pressing *9. Another way you can participate is by sending an email to pchearingcomments@countyofmonterey.gov. This email address can also be found on the agenda for today's meeting. Staff are monitoring that email in real time, so if you have any questions, comments, or documents, staff will do our best to respond in real time during the meeting. This does not guarantee it will be done once the meeting has begun. Members of the public who wish to comment will be granted permission by the meeting clerk to unmute themselves during the public comment section of each agenda item once the chairperson acknowledges them to speak. We do ask that you keep yourself muted unless you are presenting. To mute yourself on the Zoom platform, there's a mute button on the bottom of the screen that looks like a microphone. To mute and unmute yourself on a mobile or landline device, press *6. The Planning Commission is using Wordly pilot program for interpretation services today. To utilize Wordly during today's meeting, scan the QR code provided or access the meeting via the link on the screen. Once you are logged in, select your preferred language and click on Attend to join. If you are in the chambers today, please use headphones or see the clerk for the use of a listening device. If you have any additional questions regarding Wordly, please email pchearingcomments@countyofmonterey.gov for additional support.
Thank you. And with that, we move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is public comments. And for public comments, those who may want to address the commission at this time, this is the time set aside for the public to comment on a matter that is not on the agenda. And if you so wish to do so, you have 3 minutes. I don't see anybody in the chambers coming forward. Do we have anybody in Zoom or any emails?
There are no additional emails or hands up on Zoom.
Thank you. Now we move to agenda additions, deletions, and corrections. And the commission clerk will announce agenda corrections, deletions, etc.
There are no agenda additions, deletions, or corrections.
Thank you. Moving on to commissioner comments, requests, and referrals. This is a time set aside for the commissioners to comment, request or refer a matter that is on or not on the agenda. Commissioners. Commissioner Shaw?
Thank you. So I don't know if this is something that I'm either just asking the question about or potentially making a referral about, if it's even in our purview. Like continued bone to pick with Acela, and wondering if that is our only option, if we have other options, or has it been looked at to optimize it? What can we do to make this more accessible to the public? Because I find it absolutely a nightmare to deal with and a huge hindrance to the public having meaningful input into what's happening here.
I know through the chair, our staff at the county I know there's some updates to the public side of Acela. I don't know if that has been implemented, but there's supposed to be a more user-friendly public accessible side to Acela. I will follow up with staff to determine when and if that has been rolled out.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners? Seeing none, we move to scheduled matters. With that, we have item number 1 under scheduled matters. We have PLN 240285, Perkins, Robert T. and Mara B. TRS. And with that, will staff please go ahead and make the presentation?
Can you please, never mind, it's up. All right, good morning, Chair Gonzalez and Commissioners. My name is Haya Honorado, and I will be presenting staff's report for PLN 240285 Perkins. The property is located at 62 Marguerite and Carmel and within the Carmel Valley Master Plan. The lot was created through the Tehama Phase 1 subdivision and is split zoned as rural density residential and low density residential. However, the designated building site envelope and development is all contained within the low density residential zoning. 2.5 acres per unit with design control, site plan review, and residential allocation zoning district overlays. The project consists of construction of a single-family residence with an attached garage and the removal of 13 coast live oak trees. The parcel includes a designated 2.6 acre building envelope as shown here. The parcel is developed with an existing 1,092 square foot single-family dwelling that is indicated here as the carriage house with an attached 594 square foot studio and 3-car garage. The proposed project includes the conversion of a single-family dwelling into an accessory dwelling unit. However, a discretionary permit is not needed for the conversion pursuant to Title 21, Section 2164030. And there are no exterior modifications proposed through this combined development permit. The site plan reflects the proposed location of the main residence and driveway. All proposed development is contained within the building envelope. Elevations of the main house are shown here. The proposed exterior colors and materials are consistent with the Carmel Valley Master Plan for having an earth tone appearance. Colors include tan-colored exterior stucco walls with the natural stone veneer accents, dark brown exterior trim, windows and doors, and a Class A standing seam roof in dark bronze. The proposed house will have a comparatively similar bulk and mass to other residences within the area as shown here. The proposed project includes the removal of 13 coast live oak trees. The parcel is heavily forested, as indicated in green here. However, a designated building envelope was created through the Tehama Phase 1 subdivision. The proposed main house is sited where natural clearing occurs and minimizes impacts to trees. The trees proposed for removal are indicated in red, and the remaining trees that will be staying are indicated in green. There is one landmark tree identified as 28 inches in diameter when measured at breast height. The arborist report recommends a 1-to-1 ratio for removed trees and 2-to-1 ratio for landmark trees. Staff would like to note that the project should include 14 replacement trees, and the resolution and condition number 5 does need to be updated to reflect 14 trees. The project was brought before the Carmel Valley LUAC Committee on May 5th, 2025, and the LUAC members voted unanimously to recommend approval as proposed. The project meets the criteria of a Class 3 categorical exemption of the CEQA guidelines as the construction of a single-family residence on a residentially zoned property. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission find that the project qualifies for a Class 3 categorical exemption and approve a combined development permit for the construction of a single-family dwelling, associated site improvements, and the removal of 13 coast live oak trees. This concludes staff's presentation, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you for your presentation. We bring it back to the commission. So commissioners, questions, concerns? Commissioner Roberts?
I have a question more for my own curiosity to understand the conversion of the single-family home to the ADU. Do any modifications have to happen to the single-family home, or is it just stays as is and then is designated as an ADU?
That is correct. There are no proposed modifications to the existing single-family dwelling that would require a discretionary permit on planning, within planning. So the conversion itself is ministerial and would be handled more through the process of pulling the building permit.
And then to follow up, again, more out of curiosity, is it possible, I guess once it becomes an ADU, I'm wondering, does a lot line, somebody in the future do some kind of subdivision? Is that possible? I'm curious about the water entitlements and all of that kind of stuff and how that works kind of long term. It's just a big ADU, and I guess that's my only real curiosity. Or maybe I just don't completely understand, what an ADU is. It can be anything.
The requirements for an accessory dwelling unit per county standards is the requirement of having a kitchen, a means to cook food within the unit itself. So in this case, the ADU is only 1,092 square feet, which is below the 1,200 square foot threshold for ADUs. There is an attached studio that's 594 square feet that can be attached whether it's an ADU or single family dwelling. It does not change the use of the ADU itself.
Okay, that's helpful. So the existing home, which I'm guessing it is 1,000 or 1,092.
That is correct. So if I pull up here, so what is labeled as, I'm sorry, can you share staff right? So what is labeled here as the carriage house is the current single-family dwelling that's on the residence. So this will stay in place. The new residence that is coming in is under this entitlement will be considered the single-family dwelling, which allows us to now designate the carriage house as the accessory dwelling unit, accessory to the main dwelling.
And then, again, just for clarification, the studio, what makes it a studio? Is there no restroom or?
That is correct. It can be a conditioned space. So if it's considered mechanical storage, then it would be unconditioned. In this case, it is a conditioned space. However, there are no living facilities involved with the space.
So it's not supposed to be habitable. That's the main.
Habitable, yes, but not considered a unit.
Okay.
Or the definition of a unit is also having the kitchen as a part of it.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Hartzell?
I saw in the discussion that there's a condition requiring that the conversion happen concurrent with the issuance of building permits. Just wondering if you could point me to that condition.
Under the recommended conditions of approval, it is listed as condition number 14. And this condition was included since the conversion itself is ministerial. This allows us to be able to record it within this entitlement, but it does not actually require an entitlement for the conversion itself.
Thanks.
Commissioner Mendoza?
Yeah, the question on the same line in reference to the ADU. So you have a 1,092 square foot ADU, plus you have a 594 square foot studio. Now, could the studio be attached to the ADU? Because in most cases, I believe they're always attached to the main dwelling, which would make the new 5,500 square foot or 5,580 square foot home being the primary dwelling. So I guess my question is, does it matter which one it's attached to?
No, it does not. We can have buildings attached or units attached to each other, and the accessory would be accessory to the main dwelling, whether it's attached to another dwelling or not, or another building, I should say. In this case, because it is attached to the original single-family dwelling, the conversion of that changes it to an accessory dwelling itself. That does not change the use of the studio. That is also an accessory dwelling to what would be considered the main dwelling unit. In this case, that changes and shifts to the new unit.
So I guess my question would be, if I have my primary residence and then I want to add an ADU of 1,200 square feet, can I also add a 594 square foot studio to that? Because that would be over the 1,200.
That is correct. In cases where it's coming in through the county and we are reviewing it, then the difference would be that the studio would not have interior circulation with the ADU. So if there is internal circulation, then it becomes a part of the unit itself. If there's external circulation, then it can be considered an accessory.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Shaw?
I guess maybe I just missed this. So it has no internal circulation. It's just a room that shares a wall with the ADU.
I can have the architect confirm that because it is a conversion and we weren't changing any aspects of the carriage house as is. So there were no modifications done to it. And that was not provided to the county at the time. So I believe that the architect can speak to that.
Through the chair. So we are assuming that it's not just a bedroom and they're calling it a studio. Like if it had internal access, if there was a door, why would it not just be a bedroom or another room
That is
counting
correct.
towards that square foot? So we don't know for sure.
Based off of our definition, there would be no internal circulation involved.
So, but we're going to clarify that. Correct. Thank you.
Any other commissioners? Oh, go ahead.
Through the chair, if I can add, for the conversion of the ADU, because it's attached to a garage and to an existing studio, county staff through the construction permits would verify there's no internal circulation due to the fact that it has to be under the 1,200 square foot maximum. And if there is, in the instance, and if the applicant can confirm, we would require them to cut off the internal circulation and ensure that the studio is accessed through outside and not inside.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? With that, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And would the agent or property owner come and make your presentation and answer, and if you could address one of the questions that was asked by Commissioner Shaw. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Craig Holdren with Holdren Liskey Architecture, representing the Perkins today on this matter. Just for a point of clarification, the original, what's called the carriage house, was built about 25 years ago when Tehama was initially created. And it consists of a 3-car garage on the lower level, and then adjacent to that is the studio, also on the lower floor, which is the idea is that it's actually being used as a gym. On the upstairs is above the 3-car garage is the actual ADU. So there's 2 separate entrances. There's an entrance on the upper side on what would be the right-hand side of the house or the carriage house as you look at it. And the lower unit, the studio, is off to the left on the main floor of the entrance. So there are 2 separate entrances. However, having said that, there is a lockable door on the inside with a little mezzanine and a stair that drops from the upper ADU to the lower unit. The gym is a story and a half. It's, rather than being sandwiched between the garage and the space above, it's an open volume. So it's kind of a barn-like space. And so there is a stair that does connect. There's a little lockable door upstairs that comes out and descends into that space. But again, there's no bathroom associated with it, and it has its own major 2-door entry out onto the driveway.
Okay, any further information you need to add, or are you?
I mean, I can also talk about the house we're proposing, but I'll take your direction.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And is there anybody in the chambers that would like to address this particular item, PLN 240285? Seeing no one in the chambers, is there anybody on Zoom or any emails that are that we may have?
There are no emails or hands up on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. With that, I guess I'll bring it back to staff or to see if there's any other information now that we know a little bit about apparently a connection from the upstairs to the downstairs, or any information, or if not, I can ask the commissioners if they have any questions.
So through the chair, staff can reword the condition of approval language to ensure there's no internal circulation within the habitable structures that would exceed 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, I'll bring it back to the commission for questions, and if not, I might have one unless somebody else asks it, but Commissioner Mendoza?
Yeah, I guess that's something we would have to do, just because if not, it would not fall under the ADU maximum square footage, which is 1,200 square feet. Because, you definitely have to find a way to clean that up where there's not access from the main or from the ADU to the studio. Very, very important. Because if not, moving forward, if somebody comes up and wants to, okay, the ADU's 1,150 square feet, plus I want to add a studio next to it, that's 1,200 square feet. What is to deter you from doing that? So yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Commissioner Roberts?
And I guess similarly, again, my concern is always precedent. And so my question is an ADU allowed a 3-car garage? I mean, is that normal?
Yes.
Other commissioners? If not, I do have a question, but it seems like there's access from one location to the other. And so does that make it an internal circulation, or does it have to have, it's internal circulation, I thought it's where you can access it from one place to another. And if you can access it from one place to another, does that mean that's internal circulation or not? Even though it may not be a door, but whether you open it and then you drop down a ladder or whatever, and then you are able to access it and you don't have to go to the outside. To me, seems like internal circulation, but I don't know what the codes and what all that means. So
Yes, so internal circulation is essentially the means to connect the two units or rooms without needing to step outside. So by having exterior access only, that breaks that ability to access each room through the interior of the building itself.
Through the chair, if I can also add, so it sounds like there is internal circulation between the studio and the proposed conversion from the single-family dwelling to the ADU. The conversion from the single-family dwelling to the ADU is considered a ministerial action as outlined in state law. And so therefore, when the applicant does come in to do the conversion, they're going to need to make interior updates that are not subject to planning entitlements, in which where we would require them to now cut off the internal circulation and remove the door, which will then be inspected by county staff to confirm that was adequately done. And therefore, if the commission proposes to reword the ADU conversion to ensure that it does not exceed a maximum of 1,200 square feet and has no internal circulation with any other habitable or non-habitable structures, that would be the commission's purview.
And if I may add, by including the condition on planning side, we're able to review and confirm that the internal circulation has been addressed prior to signing off on the building permit.
and that would be taken care of. I guess if it can be taken care of, not necessarily now, but I guess when that's addressed, then that would be part of whoever makes the motion. Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Gomez?
I just wanted to raise the same concern that Commissioner Roberts raised. Have we had a situation similar to this situation where we had internal circulation, we approved a project like this?
Through the chair, if I could clarify the question. So has the county previously approved an ADU that has internal circulation to a studio?
To a studio or a parking lot? Or
The county has approved an ADU that has internal circulation to a garage to be able to access the ADU, but not to a studio because then it would, if it goes over the 1,200 square foot limitation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Mendoza?
I guess it would be pretty important to clean that up first in reference to the ADU with the studio, because if you don't do that, then at that point, I don't know that you can even add a second home to that lot, so that is something that would have to be cleaned up before we even pursued to approving another house on that. So that's just somehow we need to word it where that is being addressed before we can move forward in addressing a home on it, because right now you already have a home. So they could add an ADU, they can be here trying to add an ADU, but they can't add a second home because you already have one that's probably, not off the top of my head, you're probably at 1,600 square feet because they still have access to one another. So I think it's pretty important we clean that up.
So through the chair, the process of the county process for reviewing projects such as this, planning is required to sign off on all building permits prior to issuance of those permits. It allows us the ability to confirm through our conditions whether or not the condition is being addressed. In this case, ensuring that the accessory dwelling unit itself stays under 1,200 square feet and that there is no internal circulation between the studio and the ADU itself. We would be able to see that on building plans before it's issued through the building department. The building department will also require their own review as well, which they will also be confirming and addressing any issues if the ADU is over 1,200 square feet. And so both departments will have an opportunity to review it, and this is subjective to final inspections through the building department. It is not being addressed on our end at this time because it is a ministerial process. But the condition allows us to follow up and make sure that the condition is met before the building permit is issued.
Thank you. Commissioner Hartzell?
And this is the reason why it's vital that condition 14 require the concurrent conversion to the ADU in order to issue the other building. Okay. I have questions about the trees, but Commissioner Shaw has been raising her hand for quite a while. No, are you?
Are you down to your questions right now, or?
I have a second question, but I don't want to go off topic.
Okay. Commissioner Shaw?
Thank you so much for that, Commissioner Hartzell. I'm just curious. So if this studio, they cut off the access to the actual main ADU, future ADU, but the studio has access to the garage that's then connected to the ADU, like where's the threshold? Does it have to be completely only access from the outside, or can they share a garage?
The ADU would need to, in this instance, would need to have its own separate access, exterior access. So then it would be, there would be no internal access to the garage or the studio.
Through the chair, just this, the studio itself, would it have a door between into the garage? And then does that count as internal access? Because then the garage is also connected to the ADU?
Whether or not the studio has internal access to the garage itself would not change the use of the studio as an accessory unit. By definition, it would be the internal access to the ADU itself. So if we are only addressing external external access for the ADU, then that would address any internal circulation concerns with the garage or the studio.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hartzell?
I'm going to change the topic. I'm interested in the decision not to move the main home inside the building envelope in order to accommodate the trees that might not be taken down. I just wanted to either have staff talk us through that. I know it has to do with the orchard, or maybe invite the applicant to walk us through it. Either way, just if we could dwell on that for a moment.
I can share the screen where I had the tree removal as well, so we can revisit that.
Great. Yeah.
If we can share the stuff, right? So the areas that are shown in kind of a green clouding right now, those are heavily forested areas where it would require a significant amount of tree removal to move the development into those areas. So really, just that sort of clearing that we're looking at right now is what we're proposing. The driveway itself is existing, so that part, the circular part of the driveway is existing. So that is a portion that is already developed. So then the main dwelling is situated in between essentially the three groves that you're sort of seeing, as well as the existing circular driveway.
And the building envelope?
The building envelope is the area, the boundary that's coming around the property, sort of right here. This is the building envelope. So the parcel itself is significantly larger than the envelope. The envelope is 2.6 acres, but the parcel itself is much larger. So this is the only area designated for development for this parcel.
Okay, and then the reason we're not moving the building has to do with either grading or landscape plan?
Can I speak? Hi, Craig Holdren.
First, I need to make sure that we got the commissioners, and then right now the public hearing is closed, but I'll first let me see if the commissioners have any other questions, and then we'll go ahead and let you answer some of the questions. Any other commissioners with questions, comments? Okay, go ahead. And did you have a question or more of that?
The question is, it's mentioned in the discussion that there was a decision not to move this building in the building envelope to save these couple of trees, and I'm hoping someone will walk me through that.
There are multi-factors as part of that decision-making process. As the planner pointed out, you're looking at about half of the actual development envelope here, so a little over an acre, right? So it's 2.6 acres out of a 13.5-acre lot. What this doesn't represent is all the trees to the left, and that's what happens to the right, beyond the right as I look at this image here, which is basically towards Carmel Valley, is the slopes fall off very dramatically towards Carmel Valley Road below. And it segues from a oak copse and thicket to more of a chaparral as it drops into that steep slope. So the issues are that there's this one meadow, which is the only area that isn't sort of occupied by trees. And the owners they're apiarists, they have multiple beehives, they're pomologists, they're serious gardeners, they do a lot of their own home sustainable gardening as part of their eating, and they give away stuff as well. So the idea of that meadow as sort of a central feature of their lifestyle as they desired to have it on this lot was key. And so putting the house sort of half in the meadow, half in the margin of the oaks copse was exactly where it made sense, being able to avail themselves of the sunlight and the meadows and so forth for the servicing of the bees and such, that all require, of course, grasslands and wildflowers and such. The other issue is that as you move down into that meadow, what's really interesting is the noise from Carmel Valley Road becomes much more noticeable. There's something about the shape of the topography and so forth, and there's a very big difference, even 50 feet in front of where that house is located. And so it's a quieter, more pastoral place to actually sleep and live, and so that was also a factor in what we were doing. And so we were trying to sort of bridge the best of both worlds, leave as many of the trees alone, but of course we are having an impact, but also keeping the meadow for the intentions which I elaborated on.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commissioner? Thank you.
Thank you.
And so now we're back with the commissioners. Commissioner Hartzell?
I'm prepared to make a motion if I could just have some clarity on whether or not there needs to be any language change to address the questions on the ADU. I would ask secretary or staff.
Through the chair, staff is coming up with some alternative language, but it might be best to trailer it just so that the project planner has a chance to review it and also check in with the applicant before it is attached to this resolution.
Okay, that would be fine. We'll go ahead and trail this particular item. That's okay with the commission towards the end, to the end. Okay, thank you. And with that, we move to agenda item number 2 on this particular area, PLN 230131, Paliova Carolyn and Bradford Matthew. And so if the staff, go ahead and please make your presentation.
Good morning, Chair Gonzalez, Planning Commissioners. Joseph Almeida presenting for HCD file number PLN 230131, Paliova. This project came before the Planning Commission on February 12th, 2025. The Planning Commission continued the project to a date certain of April 9th, 2025, raising concerns regarding the amount of development on slopes in excess of 25%, fuel management on steeply sloped properties, and the exterior colors. At the April 9th hearing, the project was continued to a date uncertain to allow the applicant more time to make modifications to address the Planning Commission's concerns. Since the initial hearing, the applicant has worked with staff to make reductions to the amount of development on slopes in excess of 25% and have modified the exterior colors to be more consistent with the rural nature of the surrounding neighborhood. The project is located at 103A San Venancio Road in Salinas within the Toro Area Plan. The subject property is zoned low-density residential with building site 6 and design control overlays. The revised project involves the construction of a 2-story, 3,477 square foot single-family dwelling with an attached 606 square foot garage, an attached 369 square foot deck, and associated site improvements, including a 320 square foot driveway, the removal of 10 protected oak trees, and development on slopes in excess of 25%. The proposed tree removal and replanting remains unchanged from the original proposal and is compliant with the prepared fuel management plan and with California Public Resources Code Section 4291, which establishes fuel reduction and vegetation management guidelines for areas within 100 feet from structures. Following the initial hearing before the Planning Commission, the applicant reduced the proposed site coverage from 4,186 square feet to 3,140 square feet, and the total area of disturbance from 12,900 square feet to 11,900 square feet. The reduction in total ground disturbance also reduced the amount of development on slopes in excess of 25%. Of the total ground disturbance, 10,200 square feet will be on slopes greater than 25%. The maps on screen show these reductions. The map on top shows the original proposal, and the map below that shows the reduced scope. The reduction in site disturbance is the result of reducing the size of the attached deck from 606 square feet to 369 square feet, shown on screen in yellow, reducing the size of the main residence from 3,633 square feet to 3,477 square feet, shown on screen in green, and reducing the size of the garage from 742 square feet to 606 square feet, shown on screen in blue. Additionally, as recommended by the Planning Commission, the applicant modified the design to reduce impacts to slopes by siting the garage under the home rather than adjacent to it and removing an exterior staircase. The proposed reduction in hillside alteration and associated reduction of development on slopes in excess of 25% aligns with the purpose of General Plan Policy OS 5.5, which encourages the preservation of hillsides and existing terrain in visually sensitive areas. The revised project scope continues to avoid ridgeline development by siting the residence near San Venancio Canyon Road, reduces tree removal by utilizing an open area within the surrounding forest, and minimizes the amount of hillside alteration by proposing a 2-story structure and aligning the driveway with the contours of the topography. The original project design included colors and materials consisting of a matte black metal roof and white board and batten wooden siding with black trim. As proposed, the single-family dwelling now includes colors and materials consisting of a matte black metal roof and muted blue-gray board and batten wooden siding with white trim. The proposed exterior is more in keeping with the recommendations of the Land Use Advisory Committee and Toro Area Plan Policy T3.1. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission find the project categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15303 and approve a combined development permit consisting of a design approval to allow the construction of a 2-story, 3,477 square foot single-family dwelling and associated site improvements, a use permit to allow removal of 10 protected oak trees, and a use permit to allow development on slopes in excess of 25%. That concludes staff's presentation, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you for the presentation, and then we bring it back to the commission for comments, questions, concerns. Commissioners? Commissioner Roberts?
Just the one. I'm confusing. I might be confusing this project with another project, and so I'm wondering if you can show the slope development. Is this the property that's almost completely on slope?
Yes, this is the project where it's entirely on a hillside and it's entirely on slopes excess 25%. There is one small area of slopes below 25%, and they are utilizing the entirety of that area.
Thank you.
Other commissioners? Seeing no one, then I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And would the agent or property owner come and make your presentation at this time?
Hello, I'm Jack Camp, professional engineer, building designer, civil engineer, structural engineer for this this project. I guess I don't much have a presentation, but just wanted to make a statement that this is like as we just mentioned, there's only a small area that's under 25%, and we're utilizing that. There isn't on this property where we can build where it's not scenic easement. There is no feasible other location. There's not like a gently sloped meadow. All of it is sloped, so it's a difficult property to develop. We, listened to the last Planning Commission comments. We made revisions to try to, incorporate those suggestions within the design and really come up with a design that made those adjustments and still was meeting the client's, I guess, use of the property to have the amount of bedrooms and, the amount of space that they can use to live in. So that's about it. Thank you.
Does any of the commissioners have any questions of Mr. Kemp? Seeing no one, thank you very much for your presentation. And then, is there anybody here in the chambers that would like to come and address the commission on this particular item? Seeing none, is there anybody on Zoom or any emails related to this item?
There is no one on Zoom and no emails.
Okay, with that, I guess I won't bring it back to staff. And then I bring it back to the commission for questions, comments, clarifications, motions. Commissioner Mendoza? Commissioner Roberts. Oh, Commissioner Roberts.
I was just going to say I'd be happy to make a motion to support staff's recommendation unless there was further discussion.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Roberts has made the motion. Do we have a second? Okay, Commissioner Mendoza, thank you very much. Any other questions, comments, concerns under discussion for this particular item? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 3. And this is PLN 240223, Molly Elaine Williams Living Trust, Sarah Hope Williams, Alexandra Kane, and Martha V. Deal. So with that, staff, please go ahead and make your presentation on this particular item.
Good morning, Chair Gonzalez, Planning Commissioners. Joseph Almeida presenting for HCD file number PLN 240223, Deal Martha V. and Williams Molly Helen Trust et al. The project is located at 35811, 35963, and 35809 Highway 1 in Big Sur, within the Big Sur Coast Land Use Plan. The subject properties are all zoned watershed and scenic conservation with a density of 40 acres per unit and a design control overlay in the coastal zone. The project involves a coastal development permit to allow a lot line adjustment between 4 legal lots of record containing 5 acres, 5.1 acres, 11.1 acres, and 10.7 acres respectively, resulting in 4 lots containing 5 acres, 10.2 acres, 9.8 acres, and 6.9 acres. The lot line adjustment is between 4 or fewer existing adjoining parcels, and no new parcels will be created. The maps on screen show the existing lot configuration on the left and the proposed lot configuration on the right. Parcel A, shown in green, will remain 5 acres and will contain 1 single-family dwelling. Parcel B, shown in blue, will increase from 5.1 acres to 10.2 acres and will continue to contain 1 single-family dwelling. Parcel C, shown in purple, will decrease from 11.1 acres to 9.8 acres and will be vacant of any structures. Parcel D, shown in orange, will decrease from 10.7 acres to 6.9 acres and will continue to contain 1 single-family dwelling. All parcels will meet the 1 acre minimum lot size required for the WSC zoning district. Although the existing and adjusted parcels are less than 40 acres, the existing residences on the parcels do not conflict with the zoning district's density standards, and as the first single-family dwelling is a principally allowed use. However, the existing and adjusted parcel sizes do restrict the development of a second single-family dwelling on any of the lots. With implementation of this lot line adjustment, the development on the adjusted parcels will be brought into conformance with the required setbacks and site coverage for the WSC zoning district. The project was referred to the Big Sur Land Use Advisory Committee for review on April 22nd, 2025, and the LUAC members voted unanimously to support the project as proposed, and no comments were made by the public. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission find the project categorically exempt pursuant to SECA Guidelines Section 15305 and approve a coastal development permit to allow a lot line adjustment between 4 legal lots of record. Staff also recommends the Planning Commission accept the errata correction to the resolution for finding B evidence 3 shown on screen. That concludes staff's presentation, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you. Now we bring it back to the Commission for comments, questions, concerns. Commissioners? Seeing no one, I'm going to go ahead and move on to opening a public hearing. And so with that, will the agent of this particular item please come forward and make your presentation? Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Gonzalez and Planning Commissioners. My name is Laura Lawrence, and I'm with the Law Office of Angus Jeffers, and we're representing the applicants this morning. I'd like to thank Mr. Alameda for his presentation and for assisting us through the process of adjusting the lot lines on this property. So to give you a little history, back in the 1970s, the applicants collectively pooled their resources to acquire the property. They currently own the property as tenants in common, such that each one of them owns 25% of the entire property. So the purpose of the lot line adjustment is to allow the applicants to own their respective parcels separately for estate planning and financing purposes. Fortunately, the property already consists of 4 legal lots of record, and it's only going to take a few minor adjustments to the property lines to wholly own the land that they've been informally occupying as their own for all these years. Secondly, the lot line adjustment will bring the property into compliance with Monterey County's zoning and septic regulations, with all structures meeting the side setbacks and from the property lines. In closing, we'd like to thank you for your time and consideration of this project. We have reviewed the required conditions with the applicants, and we accept the 5 conditions of approval and are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. With that, bring it back to staff, but I don't think they have any comments. And with that, we bring it, oh, I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. I missed a step. Is there anybody in the chambers that would like to address the commission on this particular item? Seeing no one in the chambers come forward, is there anybody through Zoom or any emails that would like to address this item?
There are no additional emails or hands up on Zoom.
And with that, we'll bring it back to the commission. And commissioners, any questions, comments, concerns, statements? Commissioner Roberts?
The only question I have is, it looks like the primary well changes which lot it's on, and I'm guessing because it's a private, it's already been a shared well, that they have a well agreement amongst them, and I'm just wondering how that was addressed, or if it's changed at all.
No, the well use won't change. It'll change what parcel it's directly located on, but it will still be used by all of the lots, and EHB reviewed the wells and found them in compliance.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing or hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move to support staff's recommendation as amended.
Commissioner Hartzell has made the motion. Do we have a second? Commissioner Shaw has made the second. And with the amended piece of it, any other comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, All those in favor of the motion, so indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. And so let's see. And are we ready for the trail item, or do we need to take a little break? Like 15? Okay. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and take a 15-minute break. And if we need a little bit more time at the end, we'll extend it a little bit. But at this point, we have a 15-minute break. Okay, we're going to start in about 30 seconds. So are we ready? Okay, thank you. With that, we're going to continue the meeting that we had trailed. And so let me see, that would be PLN 240285, Perkins Roberts T and Mara B TRS. And so all the commissioners that were present in the morning are still present at this moment. So we have 9 commissioners present. And so with that, staff, will you please give us the information on PLN 240285 based on revisions?
Can you please share HDMI right? So on the screen is the proposed revised condition number 14, specifically addressing the ADU. The new condition would read as the subject property is developed with the 1,092 square foot dwelling unit over garage and studio, concurrently with reclassifying the existing 1,092 square foot dwelling unit into an ADU. The applicant owner shall obtain a construction permit for new single-family dwelling and demonstrate that the ADU is consistent with required county and state regulations. The applicant owner must demonstrate that the ADU does not have any internal circulation with habitable or non-habitable structures. Prior to concurrence with reclassifying the existing 1,092 square foot dwelling unit into an ADU, the applicant owner shall obtain a construction permit for a new single-family dwelling and demonstrate that the ADU is consistent with required county and state regulations. This part will not be a part of that. Oops. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but the last sentence on this one would read, prior to final occupancy, the applicant owner must obtain inspections for the ADU and single-family dwelling by the project planner. So this part would be removed. There.
Thank you. Ernesto?
Are we done with the revisions? Or?
Yes, this is what staff is proposing for the new condition.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Gomez?
Just wanted to make sure the applicant accepted the modifications.
Okay,
Yes.
Any other questions? Commissioner Hartzell?
No questions, just a motion. I move to support staff's recommendation as amended regarding the trees and the ADU reclassification.
Commissioner Hartzell made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Gomez. Any other questions, comments, clarifications? I'm sorry.
Through the chair, can we get clarification on the trees as part of the motion?
I have no changes on the trees. Was I supposed to?
Was there an issue that we are missing or we forgot about the trees?
No, part of the motion included trees in the comment, and so we just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing any.
You noted that there needed to be an amendment in the very beginning regarding 14 trees.
That is correct, yes. So 14 trees to be replaced, 13 trees removed.
Correct. So I support staff's recommendation as amended.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, clarifications? If not, all those in favor of the motion so indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. And I just wanted to state that Commissioner Deal had sent me an email that she wasn't going to be here today because I believe she was going to be at the Coastal Commission meeting today. So I think she sent it to me and to somebody with staff. So I just wanted to make sure I stated that. And so anyways, with that, this meeting is now adjourned at 10:20 a.m. Oh, I'm sorry.
Department report.
Oh, thought I was getting away. No. Okay. Gee, didn't act fast enough. No. Staff reports. I'm sorry. Department reports.
Yes, through the chair, just have a few updates. The zoning map updates was approved by the Board of Supervisors yesterday to reclassify multiple zoning districts to be consistent with the existing land use designations in the 2010 general plan. As Chair Gonzalez just mentioned, the Coastal Commission is today, and they are considering the coastal vacation rental ordinance. County staff will provide an update to the commission once they return. And then updates to the fire hazard severity zones are going before the board on August 19th, which is next Tuesday. And then a few staffing updates to our department. We do have a new ombudsman person that started this month. Her name is Billy Joe. We will have her come to the commission possibly next meeting to introduce herself to the commission. She'll be working closely with our director within our department. County staff did start screening applications for assistant and senior planners, so we are hopeful to have some interviews and fill the positions within the next few months. And that is all staff has.
Okay. Now for the real adjournment. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned at 10:22 a.m. Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work. Have a wonderful rest of the day.